Do you own things or do the things own you? This is a beautiful update from Dubai. So with that said, let's get started.
I'm more Kevin's deal. I'm more Kevin's deal. I'm here to help and teach him what I know and how I did it. To discover freedom. There ain't no question more Kevin's when he step in the door. He's closing deals. It's time to tell him what the DM stand for. I'm a deal maker. But I'm not just a deal maker. I'm a dream maker.
Hey there, it's your boy Mark Evans, DM. Talking to you from a beautiful suite here in Dubai, overlooking the palms at this resort that cost $1.6 billion with a B, not a P, but a B, $1 billion. Been here for about a week. Actually, I've been here for a week. As I'm sitting here looking out today, it's a little overcast, but beautifully sunny, 74 degrees. My wife and kids are down at the pool hanging out. As soon as I'm done with this show today, I want to go down there by the pool, hang out, and then we're going to go eat over at a Nobu restaurant again for late lunch, and then hang out with the family. But I want to share some stuff with you here that while I'm in Dubai. You know, I'm doing a lot of thought auditing. I'm from my East Coast, for my entire team, I'm 9 hours ahead. So if it's noon East Coast time, it's 9 p.m. here. And as many as you know or may not know, I go to bed around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I lay in bed by 9, try to be asleep by 10 because I'm up in the 4 o'clock range, give or take. Anyways, before I get started, I got a lot to share with you. Some really neat things going on, and just getting away is very powerful. But before I do, like I said, thank you guys so much for sharing the show. This is a great way to share it with your friends. If I'm saying something today, it makes sense. I do this with my wife. I do this with my buddies all the time. I'm listening to podcast shows just like you. If I hear something that makes sense, or I like it, or I feel like it could help the person that I'm going to send it to, I pause it. I go to share a show, and then I send it to them via text and say, hey, listen to this episode between minute 14 and 16, or whatever the number is, right? It allows them to kind of get a taste of what you're up to, lets them know that you're thinking about them, and it gets the word out. There's nothing better than sharing the show, connecting with your friends, deepening relationships by caring about people. It's kind of cool how that works, right? But again, all of the great shares, all of the great, even on social media, a lot of you guys share it. Just make sure you tag me. If you tag me, typically I'll see it quickly, and then I will reshare that on my feed and hopefully get you some followers and get you some clout. So I appreciate that. So today, like I said, sitting here in the suite, hanging out, I want to share some tips with you guys. This is a little off subject about business, but it also has a lot to do about business. Everything's about business. Let's be honest. Everything's about business. I'm trying not to get distracted. As I'm looking out over the palms, there's a guy shooting off the rocket things, in the water. He's got one of those rocket things where he's shooting up out of the water with the jet ski. There's a couple yachts out here, a bunch of people on the beach, pool's packed. It is definitely happening. And, but one thing about business. So if you're traveling international, this is something you guys all should do. Contact the local airport or go online and see if they have a fast pass when you arrive and a fast pass through customs when you leave. This, you pay $100, $200 a person, maybe less, more. Truth is, I don't even know. It's not that much, but you go to these airports and you'll see like these massive lines. There are hacks international where you could pay people to meet you in that country and just literally walk you to the front of the line directly, or a private line. And what takes 2 hours will take you 20 minutes or less. And oftentimes they'll even have like little suites for you to hang out. You got the kids, they'll have soda, they'll have water, they'll have tea, they'll have coffee. This makes a big difference when you're traveling international because you never know what you're going to get. The truth is, we do it every single time we travel international. We get the fast pass. They're out there waiting. They got their sign. They got your name on it, and they literally grab you. So we arrived in Dubai. As soon as we arrived, they have the buggy there or the golf cart. They grab us. They grab our stuff. They throw it in there, and we go directly through customs, a private line. Literally takes 10 seconds, and then We go straight to the baggage. They grab the baggage and then they toss us in the car and then we roll to the hotel, the resort. Why a lot of people, you got kids screaming, people hanging out. We just had a 14-hour flight. Last thing you want to do, I don't care if it's 4-minute flight. I don't want to stand in a customs line ever. So, or reduce it. So I never knew that existed, but that's a quick tip. If you guys travel international, these things do exist, and hopefully you guys utilize them. It's very affordable and it's a big business. Once you realize it's usually they say you got to reserve like 2-3 weeks in advance because they only have so many staff to do it. Depending when you're coming in, right? If you're coming in busy times, you might need to definitely plan it out. I'm not a good planner with that stuff. My wife and my team help me with all those things, but definitely do know that it will make your life a little bit easier. And that's why we're here, right? How do we make our life a little bit easier every single day? All right, cool. So as I'm hanging out here in Dubai, like I said, I've been here 7 days. Businesses are cranking, things are moving. We're hiring, we're moving people around, we're letting people go. We're growing organizations, we're pivoting organizations. We're doing a lot of stuff in all these different organizations I'm a part of. And, like I said, I'm 9 hours ahead. So I'm not really communicating verbally on the phone or anything with the team, because by the time I'm going to bed, they're just kind of getting their day going. But doing a lot of email. Like I get up at, like I said, 4 or 5 in the morning. It's 8 or 9 o'clock their time at night. The night before, I shoot a nice email and or follow up with them, and we're off to the races. This was not possible for me back in 2004 and 5. I started traveling in 2005, December 31st, 05 to be exact. And I never even thought this world existed. Being virtual, being able to grow a company, build a company, expand a company. And I just want to say this with caution. Don't run out and go virtual tomorrow because I'm talking to you today about it. Virtual to me was always build a business that can run with or without you, and and scale. So it forced me to stop being a control freak. It forced me to look at processes, people, procedures. It forced me to focus on things that made sense, not just little things, but all things. So there's a lot of variables to this conversation. So don't think that it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be virtual. Mark said that's how I'm going to get rich. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it forced me to get out of the day-to-day mundane task. Like there's a lot of mundane shit that has to happen in businesses, but I'm not good in the day-to-day. I have great team members that love it. I'm the opposite, right? I like to think on the vision. I like to think about the big picture. I like to think about who we're going to hire. Very high level capital management is what I'm really focused on at this journey of my life. So I'm having high quality conversations with pretty cool people every day, which is pretty neat. So, but being here, 2 days prior before we left the States, I had a lot going on, some big stuff going on. Some good, some really bad, and stuff you have to deal with. These are things that we have to deal with the business owner. And in these moments, I was doing a lot of thought auditing, asking myself, like, dude, like, I used to catch myself wondering why everyone wasn't an entrepreneur. Why doesn't everyone do what we do? Because it's so cool. It's so amazing. It's so easy. These are the things we sell ourselves. But the truth is, what I was dealing with last week was not easy, was not fun, was not amazing in any way, shape, or form. It was very hard, very challenging, very upsetting. I felt let down. I felt like I let people down. I felt like they let me down. It was just very emotional for the last 2 weeks at a high level. I'm not complaining, just sharing like real intimate behind the scenes stuff. And this is the truth why a lot of people will never be an entrepreneur, because that is very tough. It's very taxing. It messes with your sleep. It messes with your decisions. You start playing different games. You start questioning stuff that you do and have done. It's not productive. It's a very unproductive environment. But I just want all of you guys to know is I'm in the trenches with you daily. That's why I like to share this stuff. That's why I like to do this show. I'm in Dubai. I could easily be hanging out and not doing the show. But I want to give you real time, real world stuff of what's going on over here, because I know I'm touching a lot of people, conversating with a lot of you guys with social media and through this podcast show. So I see your messages. I see your struggles. I see your wins. I see all that, which I love. But I just want to let you guys know, if you think everyone's winning, that's not the case. And not only that, winning does require losing inside of that. You're going to lose sleep. You're going to have big L's. You're going to have big people steal from you, lie and cheat. Like all that is part of the journey. So don't get down on yourself. Just get better at the goal is don't keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. So, but as I'm sitting here in Dubai, just thinking about stuff, because it's like I'm so far away, I can't solve a problem. If I have to go look at a house on a deal I'm buying or a commercial property, I can't do it. I'm 15-hour flight away, right? So get yourself, I guess what I'm saying is get yourself so far removed that you can't solve the problem with you doing the work, where you have to get creative and resourceful. Like, what structure can I build inside of my organization to make this a seamless process, to give better checks and balances? I've talked about this before in the past, but when I used to go to all my properties, I used to do all that stuff. I understood if there's a hole in the ceiling, how much it's going to cost. If there's a leak in the roof, what's it cost? Foundation problems. I knew how to do all that stuff. So what I would do is, it messed me up though, because I would go to these projects and I would actually talk myself into the deal instead of focus on the numbers. If I knew that hole in the ceiling and the roof was going to be a $10,000 job, I would start minimizing and say, yeah, but I could get it done for $3,200. So I would offer more money for that project than if it was structured out, because they would look at the numbers. That's 10 grand based off of this number, based off this number. It'd be a $7,000 difference in pricing. That's a big deal. Not a big deal when you do one, but when you're doing hundreds, this really starts to add up. And you're assuming that's only one of the things that you did. So I was talking myself into deals instead of just following a procedure, a formula, if you will. So I'd get there. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not that busy, so I could actually get my guys over here pretty quick. I'm not saying you can't do that a little moving around and weaving in and out. But when you're on site and these things, you get yourself into trouble. You force deals that shouldn't be forced. You talk yourself into deals that should have never done. And then you don't know all this shit until it's already too late. You've already done the deal. You've already sent the money. You've already three weeks deep in the project, and you're 2 weeks past due already. And yet you got 2 more weeks left. The market's slowing down. The money's getting harder. All these things start compiling. So I just want to throw caution in the wind that when you get so far away, you start creating SOPs. You started creating a formula. Hey, a lead comes in, this happens. A lead comes in, this happens. A guy gets called or a gal gets called, so-and-so calls them. Let's call him Gino. Gino gives him a call. Gino inks the deal. Gino queues up the inspector or the property individual that's going to go out and take pictures and do the report. So now we have a property report. Now we get the property report back, and now we're going to go through the numbers, through the third part. There's all these structures that you can create. And I don't care what business you're in. If you're an owner operator specifically as well, you need to be thinking on efficiencies and effectiveness. Don't over automate it where you actually lose the relationship. Just understand how to create automation, structure, and procedures to allow you to be more productive, not just for you, but also for your client, how to give them a better user experience. As I'm sitting in this beautiful, $1.6 billion resort, I don't know who the owner is. He's not meeting and greeting me. He's not taxing me. He's not taking me to Abu Dhabi 2 days ago with the family and doing a tour guide. But everything I have, I got WhatsApp. I talked to concierge. Hey, we want to go to Abu Dhabi for the day. 10-hour book the car, book a translator, book someone that knows the area, can tell us a lot more, show us 5 locations, whatever. And then boom, it gets done. It's seamless. It's flawless. And that's what's always cool about when you travel. Pay attention. You are a consumer. You and I are consumers of products and things. The truth is, what we are is consumer of feelings. Like that car that you drive has a feeling. The phone you use has a feeling. You listening to this podcast gives you a feeling. It gives you confidence. It gives you power. It gives you maybe it fucking confuses you. I don't know, but it gives you feeling, right? You knowledge up, you gain a feeling. That's what we're all chasing, by the way, is feelings. When you see your spouse, when you see your spouse, or maybe when you see your kids, you get feelings from it. What kind of feelings are your clients getting with your resources, your products, your business? What kind of feelings are you delivering? Frustration or excitement? Fun or not so fun? Cool or not so cool? What are you doing? Are they proud to be a part of it, or are they not proud to be a part of it? Can I be honest with you, as I always am? One of the coolest things I get to see and do is actually, I get to see this all the time. So many people, hundreds, if not thousands of people, sporting the DM gear. Now, the DM means deal maker, or if it's my mother, dream maker. But what it really means, it has nothing to do with me, even though that's what my logo is, but it's all of our logos. It's a unit logo. The more the logo gets spread, the more visibility the deal maker community gains. It's a signal sign to let someone know, like, yo, that guy's in the game. If you wear like $1,000 Jordans and someone sees you in $1,000 Jordans and understand what the Jordans are, you have an instant connectability, right? It's interesting to me as I'm sitting here in Dubai, everyone's wearing Givenchy, Balmain. I don't even know what the names these are, Louis Vuitton, all this shit. Okay, cool. But why? Why aren't you wearing something that supports you? Just to be cool? I'm not trying to be cool. I'm trying to be productive. I'm trying to be profitable. I'm trying to be, I don't mind being cool, but I want to do it in my way. I feel like one of the most interesting things again, I'm talking out loud to you. We were sitting at breakfast. By the way, at this hotel, they have like 17 stations. It's the world's largest buffet. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. It is 5-star. It's insane. But there was someone sitting beside us and they have the big fake lips and all this stuff. And I'm just amazed at how people fucking do certain things to their body or do anything in general just to try to fit in. Like, what is wrong with an individual to be injecting their lips? They look like a fucking duck. It looks so stupid to me. And I'm judging it because I don't like it. It's weird to me as a mental thing. It's weird because I know they're going to wake up 5 years, 3 years, 10 years from now saying the same thing. But the only reason an individual would do something so stupid is to fit in, is to impress someone. I've never met a man that said, man, those lips look good. You look like a fucking duck. It looks stupid, right? So it's like, and again, it is what it is. But if people are willing to do that and spend money, lots of money doing that, to look like that, the world is trying to fit in everywhere. And that's giving them a feeling. So I take note of it. I use it. I'm frustrated with it. Just talking out loud, you can hear how my tone's already changed a little bit because my brain just does not make sense with it. But I do make sense with people wanting to connect and feel something with that kind of signaling, right? They have the Rolex, they have the Patek, they have whatever. These are signals. These are things. I've never truthfully really tried to fit in because I didn't like the people that fit in. It was weird to me, right? In the beginning, maybe when I was 13, I tried to, but I never felt like myself. I never felt as confident as I do today. I wear a goofy Kangol. I've been wearing that fucking thing since 1997. I've been wearing pink shirts back before it was even for a guy to wear a pink shirt was not cool back in 1995-ish, right? I wear flip-flops. I wear white shoes. I've always wore white shoes and flip-flops when no one else did. And it was always weird because it was funny because my grandmother, everyone's like, dude, you look goofy. Blah, why don't you just fit in, man? Why do you stick out like a sore thumb? Well, I think you stick out like a sore thumb because you're trying to be someone you're not. You're trying to look like that person. I don't chase designer stuff. I like nice watches. I like nice cars. I like big houses, but I like my style. I don't care if everyone likes this kind of car. I like the car I like. I see everyone driving Teslas. Cool. I just don't like them. If I liked them, I'd buy one. You know what I mean? So but again, it's like, that's a signal. If yo, man, I drove a Tesla. Okay, cool. Like, it's awesome that people have these little pods, but that's what I love about the DM community is the DM is your brand. I'm just a steward of it as well, just like you. When I meet people, I met this guy, Tom, yesterday at the coffee bar at 7 a.m. He's from the UK. He moved to Dubai 3 years ago. He has more stays at the Atlantis Hotel Resort than anybody ever in the history of Dubai. And him and his wife and kiddo. He knows every chef in town. This guy is connected of the connected. And guess what he does? That's why we talked for 3 hours. He does real estate. So we start talking, what's working, what's not working, and blah, blah, blah. It's really cool to me. Like that, to me, that conversation started with the DM hat. The individual starting that conversation, me or them, right? Let's say Tom, like, which he did. He's like, hey, what's the DM stand for? I'm like, deal maker, right? Because I got it on a hat and a sweatshirt. And guess what? He's like, well, I'm like, yeah, are you a deal maker? Ha, 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 right? Of course. It's 7:30 in the morning. He's at a nice high-end resort. He's doing something. See what I mean? So if he had a Lacoste or a fucking polo shirt on, like no one's ever asking these questions. Balenciaga, yo man, you got a Balenciaga shirt on. What are you up to? No one does that. That's more to blend in, to fit in. I want to stand out, to accelerate. I want to stand out to lead. I want to stand out to conversate. See what I mean? It's a massive shift, a massive difference. And it gives you so much more confidence. It gives you separation. People understand what you stand for. That's the thing is, a lot of people don't stand for anything. They stand for whatever's easy, simple, less resistant. Oh yeah, I like blue too. No, I fucking hate blue. I like green. Not me personally, but like that's how I think about this stuff. So what are you doing to stand up, to stand out? What are you up to? What are you wearing? What are you talking about? Who are you hanging out with? These are all things that you can do. As I'm hanging out here in Dubai, I've had multiple meetings. I met Tom yesterday. I met a guy named Chris. He sold a company for $320 million. I met him yesterday for a couple hours, him and his wife. And my family came down. We talked about real estate, talked about a bunch of business stuff and what's next kind of thing. He's young, 40-year-old guy, doing some really cool stuff. And then after that at 6 p.m. for a couple hours, I met with a guy, Assad, here in Dubai. He's a huge real estate developer. And if I told you how big it is, you wouldn't even believe me, but it's big. It's in the B's with the billions. And I just got to sit down and hang out and connect with them. This is all through relationship capital. I met a guy, Ali. He was in Miami, Florida. He come to one of my yacht events that I did because I like to do stuff over the top. He likes over the top. He came and hung out for the day. We forged a relationship. This is 5 years ago. We've stayed in communication and connection. And I let him know, hey, man, I'm in Dubai. I know you got some stuff going on out there. Is there anybody I should hook up with? This guy's hooked me up with like the sheiks, like the main people that are running this country. I want you to think about that through relationship capital. So why is this important to you? Well, again, we're talking about a lot of stuff, but you have to start understanding what your brand creates in types of feeling. Like, what, are you creating a feeling? Are you connecting with your folks? Are you like, and when I say you, it could be your process. It could be your team. It could be the infrastructure you created. And like I said, I caution you, do not over automate it. Automation is amazing. Humanization is the separator. Humanize your automation. Allow people to connect with you as a human. You know, I know it's real, and I know a lot of people are getting used to this whole AI and bots and all this shit because I see the chat lines, and it's like, oh, you know, is this a bot or is this really you? Every single thing that we do is a human on our company, because bots, you know, we might have a trigger that says, hey, thanks for replying, we'll get back to you. But I'm talking like full-fledged conversations via text or email or phone calls is going to be with a human that we employ and we work with, and or they're, you know, 1099 or whatever, and we're having conversations. We really want to get to know, like, and trust you, want to understand what your real problems are, not your surface level problems, by the way, your core problems, your root problems, so we can really help you get growth. See, the thing is, in our companies, we all have a sense of urgency that we're not all going to be here forever. So we got to make the most impact at the highest caliber as fast as humanly possible. And the only way to do that is get to the root. Most of the people are out here trimming trees, the limbs on the trees. We're going to the root cause, because if we can solve the root, everything else will get better. Everything else will flourish. So be unique. While everyone's going to AI, I'm going harder on humans. Yeah, could you save a couple bucks? Maybe, but how much are you losing? See, it depends on what kind of company you are. And again, I'm not knocking AI. I'm just not a follower. I'm a leader. I'm leading me. I'm going with what I believe is the best. Not to say I'm not wrong sometimes, but I don't know how I can be right by being a human inside of a human environment. You see what I mean? So these are all things that we should be doing. But what's cool about me being so far away is it forces me to think deeper about these pieces. It forces me to think strategically, not reactively. Because a lot of times, dude, like, let's be honest, you're in a business and you're like, man, I could literally eliminate 30 employees and save X, Y, and Z and plus make X more money. Yeah, do it. And just you move on. It was just a decision, you moved. But we got to remember there's humans involved in these decisions, and it could be really good or really bad for individuals. So we got a lot of people, we got a lot of responsibility as leaders and owners of organizations to be mindful about the full decision, not just a fast reactive decision because it makes a couple extra bucks. Today, anyways, it could lose you a lot more money in the future. So as I'm sitting here, there's so much. I've been to many places. I've been to many, many cool places of my life. And I remember back in the heyday of Miami, South Beach, Florida, Miami, Florida, my buddy Doug and I, he did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate in Miami. Like you would go down to Miami, I forget how many years ago now. Shit, it might be 15 years ago now. But there'd be cranes everywhere. It was a big deal. It was very condensed, a lot of cranes, a lot of building, a lot of development going on, which is cool. And a lot of money was made. And then you fast forwarding, I'm in Dubai in 2024. I'm telling you right now, and I'm being dead serious, what was going on in Miami 15 years ago looks like kindergarten compared to what's going on here in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I've never seen the scale, the amount of money and construction flowing at rapid paces. I've never seen anything like it. I truly believe I will never, nor will anybody ever see a growth like what's happening in Dubai and Abu Dhabi for the rest of our lives. There's a couple of reasons why. One, you have to have a lot of money. I mean, we're talking hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars. Two, you have to have the land space to be able to do it. Three, you have to have a reason to do it, right? I think they said 18 million people came to Dubai as tourists last year. There's only 12 or 13% local population. Everyone else is expats. They come in here, they hang out. I mean, guys, as I'm talking to you, I'm looking at 50, 30, 40, $50 million houses everywhere. Like it's like, these are like starter houses in the States. They're as far as the eye can see, like for real. And then beyond that, I see the city. The building I'm in is 1.6 billion. The building beside me is over $1 billion. I mean, there's multiple billion-dollar complexes here. So that's cool and all. But you understand what it takes to manage and build these kind of complexes. I mean, at one point, there's over 20,000 workers working on some of these properties. When we went to Abu Dhabi, tens of thousands of new builds are going up everywhere. I'm talking complex sizes like I can tell you until I'm blue in the face, but you can't fathom it until you actually arrive here and experience it with your own two eyes. The feeling I have here is that it's just unlimited. It's massive. Whatever you're scaling in your life or in your brain, if you have a business and you want to grow, you have to come here just for learning what real scale looks like. Again, I'm a pretty experienced investor, business owner. I'm blown away by it. I'm like, how in the world, like the vision that one would have to do what they're doing here is unprecedented. So it's like consultants and vision and, these thoughts and the money to back these thoughts and ideas. And it's epic proportions of what's going on out here. And I'm not a tourist guide. I'm not here to sell you a tourism package or anything, but I'm telling you, I think over the next 3 years or less, every person listening to my voice should come to Dubai and experience what I'm experiencing. Frame breaking. It's breaking my frame of what's possible, what's available. Literally, you think you're dreaming big, then you come here and you're like, I haven't even started to dream yet. Big is all relative. right? If you're hanging out with 3 people dreaming about building a 10 property portfolio, you're the 4th one dreaming about building something a little bit bigger, maybe. But when you come here, there is no limit. They want bigger, better, and higher. Not only do they want that, they're willing to put their time, energy, effort, and most importantly, money where their mouth is. You've never seen anything like this. I genuinely believe you will not ever see anything like this again in our rest, like in the for the rest of our human life. It's wild, to say the least. Like, you understand, thousands of units on new builds are selling out within minutes of them opening it up. Minutes. I want you to think about that. Minutes. Some people are trying to figure out how to sell one house in a year. They're selling thousands in minutes. You know what I mean? So I want you to get out here. I want you to experience it. You know, we stayed, I'll tell you next week where we're staying and stuff, because I don't want to share all that data yet, but we're here. These are beautiful resorts. The Atlantis down the street is amazing. They got the aquarium. We took the kids to the aquarium. They got the world's largest park, world's largest buffets. I mean, all this stuff everything's the largest. The world. Yeah, we went to the Louvre over in Abu Dhabi. They're building another building. I forget what it's called now, another museum. Oh, man, I should know this name. It's out of California as well, but $2.5 billion to develop it. There's like 5 or 6 of these going on at the same time. And then they got Ferrari World, they got Sea World, they got all the, I mean, get your butt here is what I'm saying, to expand your brain, expand your mind. I want you to come in with goggles, the lens of abundance, like just expand your brain. And when you do that, you start looking at how small you've been playing. You start realizing that there's a lot bigger world out there. Because when you're watching TV and you're like, the Sheik buys a $700 million yacht, you're like, oh my God, how's that possible? Well, when you come here, you'll see how it's possible, right? It's like, oh my God, when this guy buys a $50 million house, that's a dream. Well, maybe, but when you come here, you'll realize that he has 8 of those houses around the world, and he's only here 2 weeks a year. And you'll realize how it's possible and why they're doing it, right? Because that $50 million house today is worth $75 million 3 years from now, potentially. Right. So it's a placement of cash. They park some cash. It's an investment play. They have lots of cash flowing around. They probably forget this might blow your mind. They might forget more than they own. Like, they know they have a couple houses. They don't know how many they have. They don't know the addresses of them all. And I'm kind of at that at a little scale, but at this scale, it's a different animal. Right. I just got a message actually from a lawyer today. True story. He's like, hey, you have a code violation on our property. We didn't even know we owned it. And we've owned it since 21, right? So I had to go back and forth with a couple people on the team. One of our companies owns it. We didn't even know it. True story. These are real world problems over here. So I want you to think about this. How are you trying to scale? Are you building your company in your zip code? Are you building your company in multiple zip codes in your community? Are you building your company in the state? Are you building the company in the country? Or are you going international? There's a lot of things you could do. And if you think you're doing big stuff, if you're trying to understand how to grow and scale, that's why you're here on this podcast show. This is what we do every day. This is why the guys and gals are in the DM Alliance. We're talking about scaling. We're talking about growing. We're talking about expanding. But I can promise you this, you will never expand bigger than you, ever. You must knowledge up. You must educate yourself. You must get around other people to borrow their belief, to see what's possible, to mimic what they're doing. A lot of you guys, what's funny is that some people are trying to model what Jeff Bezos does. He's too big for you. Even here, even me, I've never tried to model a guy like Jeff Bezos. It's too far in advance. He has too many resources to be able to follow him, to be able to mimic him. We can't move like him. The truth is, we are much more nimble. We can move faster. He's a ginormous ship. We're a small little boat, speedboat, right? We can make moves quicker, bigger. We can go out and pop 500% this year. He can't do that in Amazon, right? He's just too big. If he gets a 20, 30% steady growth, that's what they're shooting for. But there's certain things that small companies we can do as we evolve and make bigger decisions with the right people. We could really see massive growth and eventually get to that level. But that's not shit that happens overnight. This is a process. But I can tell you this, if you're trying to model someone way too bigger than you, you're hurting yourself because it's not possible. They're too far out of the lens. They're too far out of the realm. You got to get closer to someone that's a little bit closer to you so you can get in the game and understand the moves they're making. That's why I always share with you guys, I'm in the trenches with you. I'm growing with you. I'm growing multiple organizations at the same exact time and multiple verticals. I know what it takes to succeed in the game of growth. But again, that's why people invest in the DM Alliance. It's $1,000 a month. It's a steal. One deal could pay for this many times over. One contract could pay for this many times over. I don't care what business you're in. But again, we meet every week, every Wednesday at 12 noon. Even when I'm in Dubai, it's 9 o'clock at night when I'm sharing the show there and doing it live. But we're asking questions, we're answering questions, we're helping people grow and build real businesses at another level. So it's really cool to see. Another thing, and by the way, before I move on, if the DM Alliance interests you, message me on Instagram at Mark Evans DM and just say DM Alliance -podcast. And then I'll hook you up. I'll have a conversation with you, see what's going on and see if it's a good fit. Again, it's Mark Evans DM on Instagram. And then just message me podcast-DM Alliance so I know what you're up to. I want to share something with you here. One more thing here. And this is a big one. Ready? Do you own things or does the things own you? Let me say that again. Do you own things or does things own you? I'm talking like stuff and time. You see, sometimes we could build this massive business or start growing and we just start spending recklessly. We start buying houses we don't need. We start buying cars we don't really care about, we don't need. We start buying just stuff to buy stuff to fill up a cup. And then you realize, like, shit, I got to take care of it. I got taxes, I got insurance, I got maintenance. Like all these things cost money. That's where I see a lot of people get in trouble is they have the money to buy it, but they don't have the plan to take care of it on a monthly basis, right? So when I'm purchasing something, I'm always asking myself, let's say if it costs $5,000 a month to manage it, you know, maybe you're buying a property and you got landscaping, you got cleaner, whatever. It's going to take $5,000 a month plus taxes, insurance, and all this, right? So let's call 5Gs a month. You need to be buying it with cash or a small amount of leverage. And then you need to understand, hey, for what can I create or what can I build to generate an extra 5, 7, 10 grand a month to be able to support this new thing? This is how you own things and they don't own you. See, the problem is when you get upside down on all this shit, it's just stuff. When you get upside down on it, you actually become a slave to the stuff. And then now you have to do work you don't want to do, but you have to. Now you work with people you don't necessarily like, but you have to because you have bills. You cannot lose face. You got people to pay, you got bills to pay, and you don't want to let it all collapse. And it brings me to time. You know, do you own time or does time own you? And the problem is when you acquire all this stuff and it owns you, you've lost everything actually you're really working towards, time freedom. And that's what real money can buy you. So don't get it confused on the journey of growth that it's just about acquiring stuff. The biggest thing I want you to acquire is enough wealth to acquire the abundant amount of time that you have while you're on planet Earth to be able to do whatever you want with whoever you want, anytime you want. I want you to be the guy or gal walking around town in your fucking slippers at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with your goofy sunglasses and your hat sideways and your kids and you're playing with the kids. And people are like, what the hell does this person do all day? How are they able to do this? That's what I want for you. I want you to have the time freedom to be able to make this trip. Like you're hanging out with the family, you're talking at dinner tonight, and tomorrow morning you're off on a trip for the next 7, 10, 20, 40 days because you have total time freedom. See, you can ask anybody that knows me. I personally, very ultra rarely, have a very stacked calendar booked out in advance. I don't like it. I've busted my ass for almost 28 years of my life to get time freedom. And the last thing I want is some dipshit saying, hey, man, can we meet April 13th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Motherfucker, text me April 12th, and if I'm available, I'll talk. If not, we'll make it for the day after. But I don't book stuff out like that because I don't plan that far in advance. That's me. That's my personality. Now, if you're opposite, cool. But I am in the game of life for time freedom. I'm hanging out here on day 7, hanging out with my family, getting ready to be done with this podcast show, send it to my editors to send it out to you, and I'm off doing my thing. I'm doing one to many. I'm working once, i.e. now, and it's going out to hundreds of thousands, millions of people available. Think about this. What are you doing with your time to multiply it? I want you to stop. I want you to think. I want you to thought audit on what you can improve, who you can hire, what you can eliminate, what you can enhance, and get very resourceful. Because in 2024, I want this to be the year of your biggest growth of your human life as an individual. And if you become a massive grower as an individual, everything else that you're involved with will grow. I don't want you chasing 32 things. I want you chasing one thing, and that's growth and time freedom for yourself. You will gain so much insight about how you're making moves. Are you reactive or proactive? Are you building out of fear or are you building out of confidence? Where are you coming from? Why are you thinking this way? Who's planting these seeds in your mind? Who's your friends? Who's your new friends going to be? Today, I'm getting ready to meet a pretty high-level guy, another guy. He's done billions, and I think last year they did 10 billion in deals, 10 billion. And he's excited and honored to meet me, as well as I am with him. But there's some opportunities I've never seen before. Like I said, I've been in the game almost 28 years. This isn't shiny object syndrome. Again, when you get here in Dubai, and by the way, guys, if you're listening to my voice and you're going to come to Dubai in the next 3 years, please shoot me a message at Mark Evans DM and IG and let me know, say Dubai-podcast, because I can hook you up with some amazing people. But possibly, if you're cool. But I want you to realize this. The world is your oyster. You are never going to outgrow yourself. You must constantly be growing, connecting, most importantly, connecting with yourself, understanding how you're moving, why you're moving, and what you're doing it for. I know there's people that make a lot more money than me out here, that have a lot of time, that don't have a lot of time. I'm not trying to be them. I'm trying to play my game. Time freedom's my game. And I have a number that I always need or to be shooting for. Like, what is your number? What number do you need in the bank? What number do you need coming in daily, weekly, hourly, monthly, yearly, whatever, to give you ultimate time freedom? You know what's crazy? Most of you listening to my voice may already have it. You've just never sit down and thought about it and looked at it and understood what you were really chasing, because you're trying to be cool. You're trying to do what everyone else is saying and doing. I always hear these people grind, hustle harder, blah, blah, blah. Do you know the only person that knows you stay in your office late, that gets up early and doesn't see your kids and do all this shit 20 years from now? You know who it is? Your children. They're the only ones that know you did that. No one else gives two fucks about you. So I want you to get very serious about why you're doing all this stupid shit, why you're building these crazy, wild, fun businesses. I'm not saying you should stop all this stuff. I'm just saying you need to be aware of how you're building it, why you're building it, what you're building. Is it adding to your life or taking away from your life? Depending what season you're in. Are you married, not married, single, divorced, children, no children? All these things have different components. What do you ultimately want? I would start reverse engineering my plan today with not where I'm at, but more importantly, with what I want. And I'd start asking myself, okay, that's what I want. Now let's see what I have, and let me see how I can get to where I want with what I have. And oftentimes that might mean eliminating, cutting, enhancing, growing certain things, and all of the above. Once we hunker down and get real serious with this game, it starts getting very fun, because now you have a path. Now the shiny object syndromes get a little bit more reduced because you're very clear and focused And when you're focused, you're confident. And when you're confident, you get results. I want you to know I'm rooting for you. I'm your biggest fan. I know you can do it. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. So I got to sign off here from beautiful Dubai. Get out and hang out with my family. I appreciate you being here. Share the show. Have a great day. Thinking about you.
I'm more Kevin's DM. I'm here to help and teach him what I know and how I did it. To discover freedom. There ain't no question more Kevin's when he step in the door. He's closing deals. Time to tell him what the DM stand for. I'm a deal maker. But I'm not just a deal maker. I'm a dream maker. The journey's where it's at. It's all about the process. It's time to get over to the DM project. From a small town in Ohio, so I know how it is. Did not come from a lot of money. I remember as a kid, wanted to make 100 racks. Didn't see no one making more than that. Graduated high school with a 1.8. They should've held me back. I hope my principals and teachers are alive just to witness this. I'm my own boss. I'm out here running 2-8-figure businesses. I can walk away from it all and I'll be good, but I've been called to help people just like y'all learn the game. It's time to ball. Everybody chasing the money, but I'm not chasing the money. I'm out here chasing the purpose, so I've been working my whole life. What got us where we at isn't gonna get us where we wanna go. So it's time to push, time to learn, time to grow. I'm more Kevin's DM. I'm here to help and teach him what I know and how I did it. To discover freedom. There ain't no question more Kevin's when he step in the door. He's closing deals. It's time to tell him what the DM stand for. I'm a deal maker. But I'm not just a deal maker. I'm a dream maker. The journey's where it's at. It's all about the process. It's time to get over to the DM project. I'm more Kevin DM. Deal maker. Deal maker. Deal maker. Deal maker. DM project.
This is the podcastfactory.com.